What's up, my funky monkeys? Is this thing working?
It sure is.
All right. So how are we going to introduce this? We need an
What
intro
episode
tune.
is this?
I think five-ish.
Five-ish?
Well, it's tech.
Five and a
It's
half.
tech. Yeah, we have one missing. So,
That is true. We do have a lost episode.
we already got it. We got our own
Um,
lost lore and everything.
wow.
All right. So, welcome everyone. I'm Duncan, and the
This
other
is
guy.
Nick. I'm sick as well.
Yes, he too has Barona or something
It's
similar.
not that.
Yes. Whatever it is
Uh,
taking its toll.
it's taking its toll, like always, because I always get sick.
Yeah, a lot of people have been getting sick recently. My girlfriend got sick. My friend Aiden also got the flu. I think something's just
Yeah, I
going
think
around.
it's something's going around because yeah, people at school, people at work are getting sick.
Hmm.
It's just that time of year.
And that, people, is why you do not lick doorknobs.
Aw, you ruined my hobby.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Oh, crap. I died again.
What are you playing?
It's the new video game that came out called The Lives of P. Now, this was a later subject
I
of.
don't know what that is.
It is a Pinocchio-themed Dark Souls-like game. Did that?
Like Cuphead?
Google The Lives of P. It's a video in it. It's essentially a
Oh,
reimagining of Pinocchio, which is the
no,
second.
I don't know why I thought it was animated. Okay, it's
Nope,
live action.
no, it's a video game
Mhm.
on
Well,
Xbox.
yeah, I know.
Oh,
I know.
yeah, well, essentially, it's a reimagining of Pinocchio, which is the second time we've covered it on this podcast. Ironically, essentially,
Yeah.
yes, essentially, you as Pinocchio wake up on a train in the destroyed city of Krat. In Krat, they built androids called puppets to do everything for them, including police brutality, because they have police robots which are about 20 times the size of a human being. So God knows what the police department was like here. But essentially, you fight through all the puppets and all the crazy people in order to save Krot, I guess. I only played the demo, which, to be fair, was actually pretty great for a demo.
I mean, it's $60.
Uh, Look, if you want to know if you'll like this game or not, try the demo on Steam, I guess, for you. It's also on Xbox and PlayStation. The demo is like 2.5 hours. It goes through the first two bosses. It's really
That's
long,
pretty
and
good.
yeah, it does a very good job of showing off what the game's like. So,
All right. I don't know if this kind of, I'm not really a Souls player very much, but looks interesting.
hmm I tried the Souls genre for the heck of it, and now I'm in for the long run. So,
I don't, the problem with hard games is I can't get very far in it. And it's like, well, why do I keep playing it?
hmm, that's what YouTube guides are for.
Yeah, I'm also just lazy.
Yeah, that, and I think my pain tolerance for suffering might just be a bit higher than you when it comes to the
Yeah.
Souls. Yeah, except for Elden Ring. If you want to get into this, do not play that game. You will have a mental break.
I know people have played that.
Oh, like who?
Mm, I know Clayton has played it.
Oh yeah, me and Clayton got the same ending for that one. We both went with Ranny, the witch.
Oh, I would never play
Oh,
it.
it's interesting, but the thing with Elden Ring is it has multiplayer, PvP. So if you find a build
That's
in the game that,
weird.
yes, here's the thing though. if you find a build that works great for you, the community will make 1,000 YouTube guides saying, OMG, this is the most overpowered build ever. That'll be the case for a week. Then the company From Software will see those videos, say, we don't want it to be overpowered, and they'll nerf it by 60%. So if you're using the blood katana to cut through enemies and it's doing great, you love it and you're having a hard time, it'll get nerfed by 60% because of what some morons on the internet were doing with multiplayer, which you don't use. So stick with Dark Souls 1 if you want to get introduced. It has the least of that
All right.
anime weirdness.
All right.
Mhm. Sorry, I didn't mean for the start off to just be my Souls games recommendations.
All right. What did you watch last time?
All right. F is for Fake by Fat Russell Crowe pretending to be Orson Welles, and you can't tell me otherwise. Is that really
He
what
directed Citizen Kane.
is that really what he looks like?
Yep.
I thought he'd look like Dracula.
Why?
Well, I just imagined him to, have the thin, like short black hair kind of look. It's the way his voice always sounded in War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to look identical to Russell Crowe. Yeah.
So what'd you think of it?
Um. Uh. What the hell is going on?
What do you mean?
I mean, I finished the movie and I think I have less of an idea what was happening than when I started.
Okay, explain what happened.
All right, so it opens with Orson Welles performing a magic trick with some kids. Then there is this Russian lady in a hat. The lady apparently goes off. Then he talks about fakery. Then we go to Elmir. Then we go to Hungary. Then we talk about this crazy guy named Howard Hughes. And then it reveals in the end that it was all actually just about the Martians. Now, the Martians were smart. They used Orson Welles to trick
All
Pablo
right.
Picasso into painting pictures of a naked woman, only to be conned by Elmir in an alternate dimension. That's what I understood.
Okay, so here's the actual twist of the movie. He mentions at the beginning that for the next hour, everything that he says is 100% true.
Mhm.
The
And then
movie the movie is 90 minutes long, so the last half hour of it is fake.
I know. I'm
That's the
saying,
twist of it.
I'm saying
That's
for
the
the
that's
first,
the good twist of it.
yeah, I'm saying for the first 60 minutes, I didn't understand what the hell was going on.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
It was just all over the place with the
I
editing.
know, yeah. I mean, it kind of jumps back and forth between these old people.
Hmm. Then
Um,
Orson, why does he have a cape?
I love Orson Welles, and it's his character that he plays is awesome.
Hmm.
And he tells the story mostly interestingly.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie and say that it isn't boring at times because it is a little bit. I mean, the big thing about the movie is the twist.
Hmm.
That's kind of what makes it what it is. It's also edited very differently to how movies of that time were made.
Hmm.
um, that's why I like it. I take it you don't like it.
Oh, whatever gave you that impression?
How do you rate it?
Um, I rate it 1 out of 4 because all 3 other people that were watching it with me left, including the dog. So that's my rating for the movie.
You're no fun.
I'm sorry, Nick. It just did not gel with me.
I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10.
Hmm.
Um, All right. Well, I watched Savageland,
Uh-huh.
the
What you think?
2015 mockumentary kind of movie about border patrol. Well,
It's a bit more than Border Patrol there.
I know it's like this guy who there's like a bunch of there's like these killings or whatever, and this Mexican guy is framed for it or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, it kind of feels like watching an episode of Dateline.
Hmm.
Um, okay, here's what I'll say about it. I didn't care for it. I think
Oh.
the best parts about it were the gore. Um, they look really good. The story itself is all right. It's whatever. It's mainly just I think it's a good style to do like a mockumentary of it, but it just does something about it doesn't look right. And I think it's just the fact that it production wise, it looks too clean. Like it's someone's first shoot.
Hmm.
um like I said, the story itself, I mean, it's whatever. I didn't hate it and I didn't really love it. Um it is I mean it's interesting. Um I was interested in seeing how it ended, which is a good thing.
Hmm.
Um, it was, I don't know. I mean, mockumentary horror movies they can either be great or they're really bad.
Are you talking like found footage in general, or
Yeah, found footage. Like I think the Blair Witch Project's really good. I like that.
oh, that's good.
Um,
I showed that to my family, and
but
apparently I'm the only one that liked it.
but I know I've seen As Above, So Below or whatever it's called.
Hmm.
I didn't like that. That was dumb. Um, so there is kind of a line as to how to for found footage for me, and I don't know. I didn't really care for it all that much. I'd probably give it like a 5 out of 10.
What'd you think of the creatures of the movie?
I think they looked pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
the fun fact of
yeah.
production was they had the zombie makeup on the people, and the reason they
Mhm.
look so screwed up in the pictures is because they had some delays while shooting, so the makeup started to melt off the actors' faces. That's why they look
Ooh,
so screwed up in the photos.
that makes them even better.
Hmm.
Like yeah, the gore and like the makeup is the best part of the movie.
Hmm. Yeah. The first half I was not the best on because it really felt like they were overplaying the whole, oh, Texas bad, they're framing this guy. Because I get people can be prejudiced, but the guy who gets framed is like a skinny 5 foot Mexican, and they're
Yeah.
saying he murdered a town of 55 people single handedly, and not just killed them, like ripped them apart and hit every last body without exception. And it's like, even if this was John Cena at peak condition, this is just not something one person can pull off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second half really pulled off the movie for me, especially the one line. You know how in the interrogation he's like singing to himself because he's all panicked?
Yeah.
Well, later on in the movie, they establish while they're going through the town that there was this church family there, and they had this one girl. I don't remember what her name is, maybe Susie, something like that. And she'd have this song she'd sing
Mhm.
that she loved hearing. So the guy eventually, spoilers warning, but the last photo is the cameraman essentially holding the little girl's hand because through the bars as the horde gets to her. And it's when you realize that he was singing that song to her to comfort her as the horde was eating her. And you realize why the guy is so messed up from what happened. That part of the movie, when that clicked, was just like a gut punch completely.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. So I think the first half's a bit mid, but I really like the second half. It was a very unique concept to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of like watching an episode of Dateline, or like a
Hmm.
murder mystery show in general.
Yeah. Not to mention, it did a very good job of just putting like an existential dread in you of what exactly is happening because it is basically zombies, but just the
Hmm.
way they look and from insinuations, they look like some sort of demonic horde descending. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
Mhm.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I felt existential dread from it, but
Well, I'm not saying I felt existential dread. It's just like this. You know how with like the Walking Dead zombies, no one's really afraid of them because realistically, you and I actually could kill those zombies. With
yeah.
the zombies, it's like the zombies from say Return of the Living Dead. The fear is that no matter what the hell you or everyone else could do, you would not be able to stop this absolute monstrosity from attacking.
Did you say Night of the Living Dead or Return of the Living Dead?
Return of the Living Dead. That's the one I watched
The
recently.
the punk movie?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Hmm. Yeah. So before we go to that one, since that is a topic on there, what would you rate Savage Land? How do you feel?
I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10.
Hmm.
Like I feel very like mid about it. Like I don't hate it. It's, I mean it's shot competently.
Hmm.
Um I just didn't love it or get all that attached to it.
All right.
What would you rate it?
Uh, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. And I know
Okay.
it sounds weird because I praised it a lot. It's mainly because the first half is just a bit too uh,
Yeah.
overly loquacious. Like you have the one black activist there who starts off pretty reasonable with, "I grew up on the streets. I know what a political killing when I see it, and I've seen horrible stuff, and I snuck the camera out." But then it really crosses the line for me when he insinuates that the Ku Klux Klan somehow hates everyone in that town because he saw the film reel and he thinks those things are the KKK. It was at that point where it was just like you are a supernatural level of moron right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But the later half was really good. So
Yeah, it gets better more the more you get into it.
yeah. So what is our next topic you would like to do?
The writer strike's over.
Oh yeah. Now I haven't caught up perfectly with this. But as far as I understand, it kind of came out of nowhere with them being like, "All right, pack it up."
Well, they finally got a deal that satisfied what they wanted, which is good.
Do you know the details of this deal? Because I've heard
That's what I
that.
was trying. That's what I was trying to find quickly, because I've seen the contract. I mean, the big things about the contract is that they finally get residuals from streaming, because before it was like next to nothing. So they're finally getting royalties for that, which is good. And also AI can't it's worded weirdly, but like AI is like kind of restricted from writing.
Kind of.
Yeah, there's some like there's a couple like exceptions to it. Um, but AI can't write or rewrite literary material, and AI generated material will not be considered source material. Okay. And they also can't, take credit for what AI writes.
Hmm. For now,
But yeah, I mean
because
they got what they wanted. Good for them.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if this is over because the studios were getting like very gung ho about the whole thing, and
Well,
I have a feeling I got this tinglings that they're gonna wait for a while, and then when they got the AI to a sufficient enough place, it's gonna be like, "Hey guys, you're fired. Remember the strike? We're back."
well, this contract is for 3 years, so who
Hmm.
knows what will happen in 3 years.
Yeah.
And of course, the actor strike is still going on too.
Hmm.
So it's not quite over, but at least the writers are paid fairly now, so that's good. And also, I think I think also they changed it where I think it's within the streaming. Like if if it doesn't perform as well, they get less money from it. Um, so it's kind of they're paid in like how well their project does. So,
Seems reasonable to me. The thing that confused me about this whole writing strike is they were demanding like profit sharing into Disney Plus. But I know for a fact Disney Plus has never earned Disney actual revenue.
yeah, yeah.
So wouldn't that technically mean if they actually got profit sharing, it'd be like, hey guys, here's a bill for $9,000. Start paying, right? Wouldn't they actually have to
I don't
pay
know.
money if they were profit sharing there? Or
So I don't know how exactly it works, but the contract is with it's like this alliance of all the movie studios. Um, so I mean, they all agreed to it,
hmm.
and it says that the CEOs of Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal were like there during this meeting.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
So it passed with the Dark Lord's blessing.
I guess so
Hmm. Well, seems like they've won for now.
for now. Um,
Yes.
all right, tell me about this Return of the Living Dead reboot because I'm curious.
Oh yeah, I just saw when I googled Return of the Living Dead. They're apparently doing a reboot for that. So let me just
Why?
pull because this is modern day Hollywood. This is why I wanted them to stay on strike.
Which is funny because Return of the Living Dead isn't like a big name.
Yeah,
Like
there's only like
it's not canon to the George Romero of the Dead movies.
all right, made by Bloody Disgusting. Well, it's a known
Oh,
local collective
that's why.
Bloody.
Bloody Disgusting is a they work for Shudder, which makes a lot
Mhm.
of like cheaper horror movies. Like they did a Children of the Corn remake recently.
Oh, come on.
So that I guess that makes more sense if they're the ones that are behind it.
Hmm.
They also do those have you ever seen any of those VHS movies?
Which VHS movies?
It's like it's just called VHS. Some of them are called like VHS 94, 99.
Nope.
Okay, well, they're just like little anthology films, but they're like the gimmick is that they're on VHS, so it's like analog horror.
Hmm.
But
All right. I looked up the reboot details, and it's basically Bloody Disgusting is making a reboot. They're saying it's going to stay true to the uh, original everything the Return of the Living Dead was for the five films there, which
there's
already is a red
five.
flag. Uh, there really only is two. The next three are all movies that should not have been made at all.
I've only seen
Like
the
three
first
was
one.
made, like three was made on a shoestring budget. Five was made on a nanofiber budget. Is the best way I'd put it.
Okay,
Like
continue.
it, yeah. And then I said I only brought this up because I recently watched it off at Amazon Prime, which I found a lot of good movies there recently, so I've just been going through them.
Yeah.
And I really liked the Return of the Living Dead a lot more than I did last time. Have you seen it? I take it you
Yeah, I've
have.
seen it. It's pretty fun.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I haven't seen the second one though.
All right. The second one's actually worth seeing. That's the only sequel they tried.
All right,
Though
I'll
granted,
watch it sometime.
it still has the weird part where the actors like Ernie and the other guy who started off the outbreak in the first movie, the
Yeah,
exact same actors play the same characters who start the outbreak in the second one. There's
that's
even
good.
a line in the movie where the two of them are talking to each other because they're like grave robbers, and the younger guy is talking to the older guy, I think Ernie, is saying,
Hmm.
"Yo, haven't we done this before? This feels familiar." So even
Uh,
they were aware.
all right, I'll check it out sometime.
Yeah, yeah. I was kind of surprised by just how creepy the zombies were in that version of the Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, they look good. They're actually
Hmm.
pretty They're like pretty creative too. Like they have actual like almost like characters to them.
Why do you eat people? Brains.
It's the only
Just
zombie
the
movie
brains.
where they actually say brains.
Hmm. Yeah, it's mostly great. I don't know, there was a few details that really were cool to me, like the whole. Uh, they mentioned the zombies mentioned they essentially eat brains to ease the pain of being dead, which led to one of the most horrifying theories I've ever read on the internet, which is the trioxine gas. It does, according to the theory, the gas which starts the zombie outbreak, it doesn't bring people back to life. It simply lets them move, which, if you think that out, it means that the whole being able to feel yourself rot all the time isn't a feature of being a zombie in that world. It's being a feature of being dead.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a. You ever read the SCP a lot?
No.
Oh, well, there's this SCP story that it reminded me of, where essentially this SCP, if you know about it, essentially when you die, you feel yourself rot to the point in which it just gets worse and worse every single second forever. But the only
Yeah.
way the gimmick is the only way it can actually work on you is if you know about it. If you like hit your head and forget, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, that reminded me
That's
about.
weird.
Also, yeah. Also, my theory of the movie is, the guy in the red shirt, the mortician. Was he an escaped Nazi or something? He was.
No.
Like I thought that was just what?
I don't think so. Was he? I don't
Well,
remember that.
I just noticed a lot of weird details with him, like how casual he is disposing of dead people in there, which he's a mortician, fine. But he pulls out a German Luger, which was part of the German army officers. That's the pistol they get in World War II. A lot
Yeah.
of Americans took that in World War II because they thought it was smooth, which I can understand that. But he also listens to German classical music while taking care of the dead people. And then there's the final thing of he gave this, I don't know, he always has this strange look in his eyes. He knows how to operate, burning bodies for a business pretty well. And then when the rain starts pouring down like crazy, he says something in just full on in German, like, "Oh, it looks like das Sturm ist Nacht," like something like that. I just maybe,
He, he could be just German. I don't know.
I know it just seems a bit strange to me. Maybe I'm
I
being
mean, I haven't seen the movie in over a year, so I don't remember exactly.
all right, so maybe that's just me, but
Maybe it's just
I'm
you.
hey, I'm sus of this guy.
I hate that.
Well,
Um, All right. Saw 10.
Oh yeah. Do you know much about the Saw movies?
I've seen the first one.
Hmm.
Not my thing.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it, just to be
I'd
clear,
say
but
I'd say I'd say I'd say give the first one a try.
you probably. I don't think the first one's a bad one since I haven't seen it. It's just I'm not really in the mood to spend time watching people getting tortured.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not-
why I don't care. That's why I don't care for it.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
the first one is has kind of an actual story to it, and it's decently made. Um, I mean, Saw is a popular franchise, so I could. It's very understandable for it to get a 10th movie.
I mean, yeah, but still, it's 10 movies.
I know.
Like Expendables, the franchise has died at like 4 movies. So,
Yeah, because those
but
movies
this
actually
one,
suck.
I won't say anything since I've never seen them. So I heard a review
But
of Expendables 4, and it was not singing its praises, shall we say?
it's people in a retirement home making an action movie.
Hey, I mean, that actually sounds pretty funny. Like an actual retirement home making an action movie.
I mean, yeah, that
Write
would
that,
be funny, but
write that down, Nick. We need to put that in the log later.
um, I don't know. I saw the trailer for Saw 10 when I've seen a couple movies in theaters recently, actually. Um, None of them I really wanted to see particularly, but I did for school related things. Um,
Film class?
well, it's not a film class. It was more of like a review show that we do.
Hmm.
So I had to go see the Turtles movie, and then I saw Gran Turismo.
Hmm. How are those?
The Turtles movie is I didn't think it was all that great. Um, the Turtles say things like sus and riz, and
Oh no.
I hated that. Um, Gran Turismo made me angry because it's just such a generic AI written movie. It just has no like character to it. It's so bare bones.
Hmm.
But I did see it. But yeah, I saw a trailer for Saw 10 during Gran Turismo. Um,
Yeah.
it look. I mean, if you're into that kind of movie, it looks decent, I guess.
Isn't the gimmick with Saw 10 they have the machine that sucks out your eyeballs?
I thought it was they put like gas in your eyes. I don't know if they suck your eyes out.
Oh, I didn't watch the full trailer because I'm a bit squeamish on that, but that's what it just looked to me, so that's what I'm
I mean, it
guessing.
does. I mean, it does have something to do with the eyes. I know that. I mean, I know that's what's on the poster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saw 10. It's a thing that I will not see. Did you
Saw.
see that? Did you see that the Halloween franchise is going to be owned by A24 soon?
Who are those people?
They're the people that made Everything Everywhere All at Once, Ex Machina,
All right, so
Hereditary, Midsummer.
it's made by people who kind of know what they're doing.
I'd say out of all the studios, they're the ones that know exactly what they're doing.
Well, mostly. It's just they
Well,
had.
yeah, I didn't care for Midsummer, but
Yeah, I was not a fan of that one.
they typically know what they're doing. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's
Is
see.
are they going to be make? I assume they're going to be making another Halloween movie, right?
Well, actually, the article mentioned something about TV show, a Halloween TV show.
What are they going to do for a TV show?
That's what I was thinking. It's like, are you gonna do like a mini series where it's like that one story in all the whole season, or is it gonna be kind of like what I want them to do is to go back to the season of The Witch and just do a bunch of campy horror stories because that movie is awesome.
Hmm. Is that similar to those VHS movies?
Well, have you ever seen Season of the Witch?
Nope.
All right, it is the only Halloween movie that doesn't have Michael Myers in it.
What's the point then?
It's basically it's about a company that sells Halloween masks that on and then on Halloween night, um, they like people that wear the mask become like brainwashed by this company,
Hmm.
and then
Is that like
this guy finds out about it and breaks into their building and tries to kill them. It's an awesome movie. It's funny how that movie almost like borders on like a James Bond movie at times.
hmm. Is it like I think Trick or Treat's the name of the movie?
Trick or Treat.
Yeah, I remember watching a review for a movie called Trick or Treat, which is essentially it's
Yeah, I've
like
seen that.
yeah, three.
No, I don't think it's anything like that. I haven't seen Trick or Treat in a long time.
Yeah, I remember seeing a review for it a long time ago.
I think it's like an anthology movie where it's like a bunch of different stories in one movie.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
So I know
but
you like that Season of the Witch movie. How well did it do? Because I'm guessing a Halloween movie without Michael Myers didn't do too
yeah,
well.
it didn't do well. It's only like within the past like 20 years people have started to like it because all the other Halloween sequels are shit. Um,
Oh, I know. I tried to see the Halloween movie made by Rob Zombie.
yeah, the Rob Zombie ones. The first one's okay. It's the second Rob Zombie one that is actually just horrible.
I'm not sure which one I watched, but all I remember
Was it the
is
one where
parts.
like was it the one where for like 45 minutes Michael Myers is a kid?
Yes, and they're
That's the first
screaming all the time.
that's the
Dirty
first one.
hobo. Oh yeah. Uh, I was by the end of it of those 45 minutes, I was about to lose it. It was so obnoxious.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's an interesting take on it because you know the original movie you see his childhood for like 2 minutes. Um, I don't love it, but and actually
Hmm.
that's kind of a thing with Rob Zombie's other movies where they're very like aggressive in that way.
Hmm. He's not a very subtle director, is he?
Well, he's also like a he has a band too, like a horror themed band.
Wow, I never would have guessed that from his name.
um,
I just assumed he was part of the prestigious zombie family.
well, actually, he made the. Did you ever see the trailer last year for the Monsters movie?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, well, that was a movie that he did, and it's like his only like PG movie, and the trailer is like made in like iMovie.
Oh,
It's
one
on
of those
Netflix.
3D movies on Netflix, huh?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I don't recommend it, but
Look, let's see. What is The Munsters?
The Monsters was a TV show from like the '60s, I think.
2020,
So this is a movie adaptation.
53% of Rotten Tomatoes. That's a great sign. Yeah, literally everything. I Googled Munsters 2022, and everything is from like the 1960s version. So that's a great sign.
It's a good sign.
It's just pretending it never existed.
It never existed.
Mhm.
Um, I see you listed the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but we talked about that last time.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. I think I mentioned that I'm excited to see it. I know you don't really care for it, but I'm interested in it.
Well, to be honest, I probably will see it. They have the new trailers coming out, and it somehow doesn't look completely dog sick. So I was the main thing I was thinking was that they probably weren't going to do a good job on the prosthetics for the animatronics, but
Oh, they look pretty
that,
good.
yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case. So I'll actually give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. So
Yeah, I plan on watching it when it comes out.
mhm,
Um,
yep. I just hope it's done well and we don't end up like the current FNAF games, which are a sane, uncipherable mess.
I don't know. I liked what was it? Security Breach was the last one, where they're like in a weird like '90s mall.
Yeah, it's just
I liked that
I'm
game.
not going to crap.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, I'm not going to crap on you for your taste for that. It's just you ever watch Matt Pat?
No, well, not in like 10 years. I haven't.
Oh, he's the one who did all those FNAF theories.
Well, I know. I remember
Yeah, well,
those.
part of the thing is a lot of the FNAF fan base is frustrated because the story is gotten to the point where it is so insanely convoluted that trying to keep track of what the hell is going on has become an aneurysm fest. So when they're putting all this new stuff like, hey, you know the killer who like burned to death 5 times? He's back in cyborg form, possessing a blonde woman who may or may not be dead. It's when it gets to that point where the theory fan base is so burned out that they're kind of just like, no, no more.
Well, I think the movie is kind of trying to go for a general audience, kind of like the Mario movie did.
Yeah, I don't blame them for that point. I tried to keep up with the FNAF story, but it's something that got wrapped up decently well in the custom night because the idea is, the general gist of FNAF, the
Yeah.
story. Well, essentially, the serial killer is William Afton, and in essentially he gets out in the pizzeria simulator one they made that spin-off. Essentially, it's a trap where the business partner of him he knew he was a serial killer and he came back from the dead, so he locked them in this pizzeria building and burned it down, killing them all. And then with custom night, the idea from the fan base is that essentially the idea of it is the killer, William Afton, is just trapped in hell. You're playing William Afton, and the reason why it's constantly you're in custom night with the animatronics is that's just your personal hell for being a child killer. But then came the mobile and VR and sister location, which have
Yeah.
taken all those theories and thrown them out the window, and it's gotten a bunch of people quite irritated. So
One last thing I'll mention about Five Nights at Freddy's is there is a YouTube series called The Walton Files, um,
mhm.
which is it's not the exact same story as Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's very similar to it. It's a three-part series. It's amazing.
Are you big into analog horror?
I love analog horror.
Oh, good to
Do,
know. I found
do,
quite a
do,
few
do, you, do,
too.
you, do you want to talk about analog horror?
Sure.
All right, what's your favorite one?
All right. Crap. I have no
Because
playlist for them.
I love Local 58, Mandela Catalog, The Backrooms.
I like the back room since I was one of those hipsters that found it before anyone else. Found it before the kids put it into Fortnite. So
um, Mandela Catalog is a really good one. I don't think you would like it because it's a little like anti-religious, but
well, I mean, I have seen it, granted, and I
okay.
know why you think that way. Uh, it's more of I don't think it's so much as anti-religious as it's the horror concept of I think it's supposed to be what if Satan actually overthrew God? Just a horror experiment. And
Yeah,
as someone who actually is a Christian, that horror idea is like fucking terrifying to me. And the
I can
series is
imagine.
just lovely. Yeah. The only hang up I have about the series is they started off moving in that direction, but right now they're kind of like, oh, the alternates, the main character, he's an alternate. There's these two different alternate leaders, and I'm just getting confused on what the hell is going on. So,
Have you seen the most recent episode?
when did that one come out?
I think in August. I think it's called Presto.
Hmm,
And
let's
it's
see.
like it's a it, it starts as like a commercial for something, and then it jumps to like this interrogation scene. Like it's really
Uh,
good. I would love to make my own analog horror thing someday.
mhm.
Because actually, another thing. Have you ever seen the movie Skinamarink?
I have not seen it. I have heard a bunch about it though.
All right, it is. I guess it's kind of like one of the. Well, I don't know. Do we want to count Blair Witch Project as like analog horror?
I mean,
Uh,
no, I think it's more found footage. Analog
yeah.
horror is kind of the YouTube horror that's trying to imitate VHS tapes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just say Skinamarink is probably the first analog horror movie. Like that's actually been released in theater. It is, if you immerse yourself in it, it's terrifying. If you take it at face value, it's very boring.
Hmm.
Like you really have to get into it in order to enjoy it. But it's when you do, it's amazing and it's very well shot.
Mhm.
Um,
Have you heard of? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm one of those people that went through a bunch of them but didn't put them in a playlist, so I forgot. Have you seen Vita Carnus?
I've heard of that one. I've only seen a couple episodes of it.
Oh, that one's a good one. Hold up.
I isn't that like about like a virus or something?
No, the idea is
No.
near the end of World War II, all of these living meat creatures just showed up out of nowhere. I sent the link for the main video.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen that.
And it starts off pretty harmless with just like these flesh vines that get used as fertilizer and these weird trimming things, which are kind of like harmless flesh raccoons. It's gross, but it's normal. And by the end, it's like, oh, hey, here's the mimic. It fucking eats people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Monument Mythos?
Oh, yeah. For the
That is
most part.
that is really good.
I kept track of it like the first two seasons, but it kind of spiraled off into madness. So it's a lot of these horror series, I end up losing track because it gets into territory I just cannot understand. So,
I mean, they do get a little complicated sometimes. Um,
yeah,
the whole James Dean as president thing is really funny to me.
yeah, I found because it's the only real way I learned that he was actually the source of that rebel without a cause saying. And didn't he
Yeah.
die at 23?
Yeah, he got into a car accident.
Hmm. Yeah. I found it strange how there was such this James Dean fan base because when he died at 23, you think that wouldn't be too much going on.
Yeah. Well, especially back then.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen, let me put it in chat. Um, have you ever seen The Boy and His Camera?
No, I have not.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good nightmare fuel one.
Stop motion. Noise.
Yeah, it's stop motion, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's this kid his camera gets broken and then he gets this like fairy thing comes into his room and it leads him to this abandoned house.
what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Um there's a what was oh, have you ever seen the I think it's called Dallison?
Allison?
Yeah,
I
hold on. I'll put
Is it
it in chat
spelled
again.
Thylasin? Because I
Thalassin, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think the thing is that channel you're
This
talking.
one,
Oh yeah, the channel you're talking about made some
Blue
old
Channel.
Blue channel. Did the YouTube channel change its name?
I think it's just the series is called Blue Channel.
Yeah. I'm just saying because the YouTube channel that one's on, it had a few music videos in the past I love to listen to, and
Oh,
what?
oh, it had that must have been weird.
Like the what is it, the black hole one? I was
Um,
listening to them in like middle school.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, it had a few music videos I listened to, and then out of nowhere it came out with those videos, and then nothing else. So I was immensely confused.
These are good. I like analog horror a lot.
Hmm.
Um,
So
there's another there's another really good one that's about like a obscure lost security system.
there's
Uh, Night Watch.
hmm,
Oh, there's one that have you ever seen the Local 58 contingency one?
contingency.
That's the one
What
where it's
happens?
like they play this message that America has surrendered to a foreign opponent and urges everyone who's watching it to kill themselves.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That
Didn't
is
know it
that
was
is
called that.
that is my all-time favorite one
Oh.
because it is such an eerie thing that they would do.
Hmm. Yeah, my favorite part of that was when the guy shows up and he just looks up at the moon and you see why the people are screaming and you see the moon hatching. That part,
Oh, that's a different video.
oh, I meant in
It's
the
it's the same
series.
it's the same series. It's the same series, but it's just a different video.
Hmm.
I think that's the sky watching one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's this like real sleep one,
Hmm.
which
Yeah,
plays
sleep.
like these like weird patterns.
Yeah.
And it like constantly repeats. There are no voices. There are no something. I think it's voices. Oh no, it's
Yeah.
there are no faces because
And it zooms through
because they show pictures of faces and they just say there are no faces.
it. Hmm.
Because the idea of it is that it disables your subconscious.
Hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of different niche horror genres on the internet. They got the SCP Foundation, analog horror. Have you ever listened to emergency alert scenarios?
I think I've seen one that was like through the BBC. Let
Yeah,
me see
well,
if I can
there's
find it. I know I've seen one of them, and I didn't really care for it because it didn't look edited that well.
yeah, there's something similar to that. I don't know if you've ever played the game Project Zomboid.
Never.
I
Nope.
haven't, but
Oh,
uh,
there's a
yeah,
lot of
some things.
these.
Yeah, it's a major genre of horror.
Yeah, I've
This
never seen
guy
any of
named
these.
Yeah, it's basically some emergency alert scenario, but something else has gone wrong. So some of them are bad, some of them are good.
That's usually how analog horror is too.
Hmm.
Have you ever
Uh,
seen Liminal Land?
I saw the reviews for it. I never watched it myself, though.
It's like this amusement park that used to exist and then it just disappeared.
Hmm.
Um, it's a fun one. Um,
And then the twist with that one is that it's secretly all for this demon from Canaanite mythology, Moloch. Like they get underneath the park on like the last episode, and the guy just gets YOLO'd by this Moloch who has uh, I'm not sure if he looks the same as the demon Baal, but it's probably just imagine that whole goat-headed version of Satan you see around. That's kind of what it is, but just buffer.
I feel like you're talking about something else.
And no, I know this sounds like I'm taking a weird departure, but it also is for the series. Like the last thing in Liminal Land, they're talking about how they have the apartment area in the void and how they keep
Oh,
hearing the screaming. And
yeah, that's
somewhere
right.
along the way,
That's
this
right.
guy this guy walks around and he eventually runs into it. So
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
mhm. Yeah, which is a bit of a weird flex, but okay.
We've talked about the Backrooms one, the Kane Pixels series.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
is amazing.
Hmm. The thing is, I think most of it's actually done in like I don't think it's Unity. It's basically in some
Blender.
CG Blender. Yeah, that
Yep.
part just astonished me when I was going through the production video because I thought there was no way that was the case.
Well, I don't know how it would be filmed in real life. I guess it would have to be in computer generated.
Well, I assume there
Although,
was computer.
although there is going to be a Backrooms movie by A24 soon by Kane Pixels, so
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I'm very excited to see what that is, especially if he's behind it.
Yeah, if he's behind it, I think it'll turn out well. If it was
Yeah.
some other thing like with Jeff the Killer, they tried to make a Jeff the Killer Netflix movie. Officially, that's still supposed to happen, but I was
Well,
not looking forward to that one
I trust A24, so
with the Jeff the Killer.
no Backrooms.
Oh, yeah, because in my experience, the Jeff the Killer creepypasta was never good in the first place. Hot take.
I never really got into the whole creepypasta thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of creepypastas that are crap. I like my major thing is it's mostly zombie creepypastas or creepypastas that are really like out there. There's this one
I'm
creepypasta that I didn't save, and Nick, you would probably like this one, but basically this reporter visits this millionaire somewhere in Europe who got sick, and he just went away. So a bunch of people are wondering, where the hell did he go? He gets in, he interviews the CEO, and the disease the CEO has essentially is all his organs are sentient now. So his heart is constantly whining about eating bad foods that are giving it heartburn. Its liver constantly complains about alcohol, all that kind of stuff. Because he says that humans are just the brain, and whatever this disease is making all the other organs as smart as the brain. And they want to get out of the tyranny of the brain. It's really out there, but the horrifying part ends where the
yeah, that sounds
organs
like a
eventually
that sounds like an interesting movie.
yeah, the organs eventually revolt from the guy. They sorry to spoil it, but they essentially pull out. They rip the guy apart, and the horrifying thing is by the end, it's revealed when the guy is writing the thing that A, he now has this thing, and B, this disease is spreading. Hundreds of people across the world have gotten it over the past few years, but it's been going up, and no one has any idea what it is. And it ends on that.
I am adding this to my movie list.
It's a creepy pasta, so it's just narrated on YouTube. But if you can
What is it
find it,
called?
I don't know to be honest, but if you can find it, give it a watch. That one's really good.
All right. Um, Anything else on analog horror?
Uh, the main one right now that got real popular was what's the one where he's in the cabin and there's the flesh monsters around in Minnesota?
Oh, Gemini Home
Yeah,
Entertainment.
that was one of the first ones I got into.
I've never been able to get into that one.
You haven't?
I think I've watched the first couple episodes and I just didn't care for it.
Hmm.
Um,
I found it interesting how something finally mentioned Minnesota exists because in most media ever, it doesn't really remember that. Not really the
yeah.
format I wanted Minnesota to be mentioned in, but you know,
Have you ever seen Pets Cop?
Yes, I did.
That's like the PlayStation Let's Play.
Hmm.
That one's interesting.
Is that one ever getting a sequel, or
I don't I don't think so. I haven't heard about a sequel.
because I thought the game left off on a cliffhanger that they just didn't answer yet.
Um, I guess I don't remember if there's a cliffhanger or not. All right,
Are you looking this up?
I got nothing else to say about analog horror. I think I've gushed enough about it.
Yep. What is the
Um,
next subject we got then?
so you watched Goodfellas.
Oh yeah, I watched Goodfellas like 2 days ago.
Mhm. That's a
Nice movie.
quality movie
Yeah. So what's the main
made
character's name again?
made by the theme park guru himself,
Oh, is that
Aaron
Scorsese?
Scorsese. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, it's definitely a Scorsese movie, which isn't a bad thing. The guy's name is Harry Hill, if I remember correctly. The guy who the
yeah,
movie's based off of, right?
yeah. Henry Hill.
And for the people, oh, Henry Hill. So for those who don't know, Henry Hill essentially was a mob guy, and the movie's about how he grew up into the mob and the crap show that endured when he had to get out of the mob. So,
It's
what
probably
you
the
think of
best like adaptation of like being in the mob.
it? I mean, I liked a lot about it. What I will say about Scorsese is I know I like to rag on him sometimes, but he's a competent movie director. Uh, the
Oh
movie was
yeah,
definitely his kind of style with a bunch of serious people going around. One thing that kind of perplexed me about the ending was Jimmy, the crazy assassin guy. He kind of gets
yeah,
into a Capone situation where they, for some reason, can't prove he murdered several dozen people. So instead of taking him down for that, they took him down for basketball rigging.
yeah.
Yeah, and he got 20 years to life, and it's you watch through the entire rest of the movie while he's gutting all of these people, just shooting them left and right, and it's like, really, that guy you couldn't prove guilty?
Now you got to watch the sequel.
There's a second Goodfellas?
Well, no, it's a second gangster movie by Scorsese. It's Casino.
Isn't that a Bond movie? Or am I thinking of something else?
That's a Casino Royale. It's the James Bond movie.
Huh,
It's just Casino.
right.
Um, it's not a sequel, but it's just another gangster movie by Scorsese.
Hmm. Let's see.
Yeah, quality
Yeah.
movie.
I did find the ending kind of bizarre, how in like 3 minutes he leaves, and then he's like, yeah, well, we got divorced, and then I got back into crime and arrested again. So,
Yeah, it's a little weird.
mhm. They're making a Napoleon movie.
I saw the trailer of that when I saw Gran Turismo.
What'd you think?
I have zero interest in watching it.
Oh, not much of a history fan?
No, not that old of history.
No.
I feel like you would love Barry Lyndon.
Yeah, I like the idea. I just have like two problems with it, and it's that first off, Napoleon and that whole thing should probably be more of a trilogy than just one movie.
Well, I have a
Because
feeling it's gonna
Napoleon,
be a long movie.
yeah, but still, I'd kind of like for us to return to an era where most films weren't 2.5 or 3 hours long. Just my
Sure,
opinion.
I agree with that.
And the second problem I have is the actor they have to play as Napoleon. He just looks a bit way too old to play Napoleon through his entire life. Because part of the thing about Napoleon early on is he was like the young, daring kid. But the actor they had playing Napoleon um, wouldn't describe him as that.
I think it's Joaquin Phoenix, isn't it?
Keen Phoenix?
The Joker guy.
That's who's playing it?
I think so. Yep, it is.
That's
Joaquin
bizarre.
Phoenix. I don't know. I know nothing about history to comment on this. I feel like you should watch Barry Lyndon, though. You would love that.
Barry 11?
Barry Lyndon.
What's that about?
It is about it's about the kind of like a Napoleon figure. It's a big like history movie. It's fictional, but look it up.
Who's Barry Lyndon?
I mean, it's just like I said, it's kind of like a Napoleon kind of guy.
Yeah, but what's the movie about?
So the film recounts the early exploits and later unraveling of an 18th century Anglo-Irish rogue and gold digger who marries a rich widow to climb the social ladder and assume her late husband's aristocratic position.
Huh.
It's a Stanley Kubrick film.
Stanley Kubrick. He's made a
Guy who
movies.
made my favorite movie, Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh yeah, that's your favorite movie.
One you hated.
I don't know. It was just a wee bit disturbing for me.
You're boring.
Look, we just have different movie tastes.
Men think about the Roman Empire.
Oh yeah, that's just the latest meme right now.
I've
The
never once thought about it.
oh, I'm sorry, Nick. I didn't know you were a woman. Uh, yeah, that's just a meme that went around. And when I'm thinking, yeah, I do think about the Roman Empire every day.
Like, yeah, I feel like you would. I unironically.
Yeah, thinking about how the evacuation of Dacia was a great mistake. Rome should never have done that. Britain, though, they should have definitely abandoned Britannia as soon as possible. I
Let's
know I'm
talk
talking over.
Starfield.
Oh yeah, have you heard about that one?
It's the No Man's Sky of this generation.
Oh yeah, it's just unlike No Man's Sky. I don't think it's gonna improve that much. Not at least without mods.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I never really
skeptical.
planned on playing it ever. I've only heard of it from the reviews.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when I heard about it, I'm a fan. I played Fallout 4, Fallout 3, New Vegas. I got Skyrim, so I'm well versed in this genre. And the number one red flag to me throughout this entire game's development cycle was how boring the universe is. Because Todd Howard was grand dictator of the entire development process for this game. He wanted it to be NASA punk, completely realistic. That means no aliens. That means everything looks like NASA. And the factions are humanity goes into space under the United Colonies. But some people don't like living under the United Colonies. So they make the Free Star Collective with the dumbest sounding name I've heard for a country in a very long while. Anyway, they fought a war, the Colony Wars. And then the Free Star Collective kind of gained its independence because it ended in stalemate. What is the ideology of the United Colonies? Don't know. What's the ideology of the Free Star Collective? Identical to the United Colonies. So why do they have a war? It's just I like to draw maps and come up with settings and all.
Of
And
course.
one thing Yeah, one thing you have to do with settings, if you want them to hold up an entire video game, they have to be interesting. They have to be unique. Starfield is literally the most realistic RPG ever for sci-fi, and it is boring as balls. Not to mention the characters there all look hideous. Do you know how they did the faces for the game?
No.
They took facial scans of all the employees for Bethesda, and they randomized them all, putting them together, which means half the people. Now, I want you to think for a second just how horrifically bad of an idea this is. It means half the men in the game, their chins take up like half the bottom half of their face. They all have this plastic dead look on their face, this dead-eyed stare. There is no one in the game that looks above a 6 out of 10. It is 99% people who look like horrifying mutants.
It's this whole cyberpunk thing again.
Oh yeah.
Often are we?
Uh, some water went down the wrong pipe. Yeah.
Like,
So did you
kind of
hear
rude.
about what?
What?
What were you guys?
I don't know. What were you gonna say?
I'm dying a bit back here. With the Cyberpunk, they released a DLC and update for it called Phantom Liberty. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Oh well, essentially, I first played the Cyberpunk game, and to be honest, wasn't that impressed. I think I've either sold it to GameStop at this point, or I gave it to my cousins. And thing is, with the update and DLC, it adds in this whole new area for you to explore. And I was looking over at the mechanics of the main quest, and there's a lot of choices you actually can get. Like, you know how 90% of games say you can make meaningful choices, but they never actually
Yeah,
do change much? They can
yeah.
actually change who lives or dies in the game, which is pretty neat.
I I have not played it, and I really want to play Cyberpunk.
Honestly, at this point, they also completely scrapped and overhauled the skill system to greatly improve it. So, yeah, it probably actually is worth getting Cyberpunk if you want to try it now.
Maybe once it's
Which,
on sale.
yeah, uh, damn it, I kind of wish I didn't get rid of it now. So, because they added in the update the best feature ever. You can deflect bullets now with your katanas.
It's awesome.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I see you listed the Unity thing, but they've gone back on that.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
that
mean,
kind of it's kind of a moot point now.
oh, yeah. I just kind of I knew they were gonna get need in the balls eventually with that one because people were crunching the math, and it was like 1/4 of Xbox's revenue from Game Pass would have to go to Unity with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was no way that was going to go through fully. It's just I'm just amazed that Unity had the balls to try that in the first place.
I didn't know
Yeah.
too much about it, but
All right. Essentially, they
well, I
changed
know
it
I know
so
I know what happened, but I don't know. I just didn't know a whole lot about Unity to begin with.
yeah.
Um, let's
Well,
see.
now it's technically not happening, but I don't trust Unity any farther than I can throw them now. So, and well, I would like to go further in depth on this. Apparently, that's not happening. I'd just like to mention the CEO of Unity on this one. Have you heard of him or anything he
Nope.
said?
Nope.
Basically, he was talking to some people in a conference a few years ago when he took over Unity, and it got leaked by Xbox 360 Achievements of all people, that department. He was talking about multiplayer shooters and that we need to monetize games when the players are most vulnerable to spending. And his unironic suggestion was that if you were playing something like Battlefield in multiplayer, they had to get you when you were most vulnerable. So in order to reload, you would have to spend $1 to get a new clip of ammunition for your rifle. Like
That
you would run
sounds
out of
illegal.
ammo after shooting, it would pop up in the middle of your screen, and you'd have to pay that.
That sounds illegal.
It,
Or like an arcade game.
it should be illegal, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
that has to be illegal.
that's the kind of person we're dealing with here. So, like, this is beyond Onceler levels of bullcrappers here.
Don't bring that shitty movie up again.
Which one? I actually liked the 3D animated one.
I even as a kid I hated that movie.
Look, the 3D one is the funny one. The original one is the masterpiece that conveys the message.
The original one's alright. It's
Yeah.
whatever.
All right.
I just hate everything. Okay.
So you're that YouTube channel?
I'm not British.
That we
Um,
know.
That we know of. I'm not British. Um, all right, I have a fun little thing we could talk about.
All right.
Do you collect movies at all, like Blu-rays or anything?
No, I do not.
Really, I thought you would be.
I spend my spending money on discount video games.
Wow. All right. Discount
Why does
video
this
games.
sound so sad
That's
at that?
sad.
No, it's not.
That sounds like poverty.
It's not poverty. That's smart business, Nick. You just go
Okay.
to half price books and GameStop. You go in the pre-owned section, and while all the other schmucks are paying $80 for Starfield, I'm paying like $50 for Halo Infinite. Sorry, no, Halo 3, COD Ghost, COD Infinite, Dishonored. I played Bioshock Infinite because I got the Bioshock collection off of that. And boy, that was a genuine masterpiece over there.
I remember buying pre-owned games from GameStop, and I remember always having a problem with them, so I don't trust them.
Well, it's turned out good for me so far. So
Like I remember when I think I bought Mario Galaxy, the original Mario Galaxy from them pre-owned, and then it like stopped working after like a couple hours.
hmm.
Um, so I don't know. Maybe that was just a one-time thing, but even just buying pre-owned things in general is a little sketchy sometimes.
Well, in my experience with GameStop, it's turned out pretty well.
Anyway,
And
what I was gonna talk about was I have started collecting Blu-rays and movies. Fun.
what kind of movies have you collected?
Right now I've collected. Remember Mulholland Drive?
Yes.
I bought that. Um, I bought All That Jazz, Black Swan, Bowling for Columbine, Dark City,
Sorry, what about Columbine?
Bowling for Columbine.
What's that about?
It's a documentary.
Oh,
It's
all right.
cheap. It was a cheap movie. Um, it's a pretty good documentary. House, which is a Japanese movie that is one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
Is
Um,
that the one with the stop motion movie where it's the three different families going to the same house?
no, it's not. I know
All
which one
right.
you're. I know what you're talking about. That was a Netflix movie.
It's a good Netflix movie. I liked it.
This is a Japanese '70s movie. It's a horror comedy. It's got really trippy effects in it. Um, what else? I have a movie called Nashville. which is really good.
What's that one about?
It's almost like a soap opera where it's about like 20 different characters and it's about how they all connect together
All in one movie?
all in one movie.
How does it balance that many guys?
There's some big names there. I know Jeff Goldblum is in that movie. Um, what else do I got? Um, Pink Floyd's The Wall. That's a good movie. Um, yeah, I mean, actually owning the physical movie will always be better than having streaming. I mean, I can do whatever I want with it.
Yes. You can put it on digital for editing and remove Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, nothing bad can happen to it.
Yeah.
Um, my voice is getting a little tired, so it might be time to wrap it up.
So you're saying we'll have to put my Call of Duty Ghosts under rated review for later.
I think so because my voice is getting very tired right now.
All right. I
Um,
understand. Any last subjects you want to wrap up with?
um, what are we watching next time? What do you want me
All
to
right.
watch?
All right. Do you know of the superhero story Watchmen?
I've heard of it.
All right. Now, for this one, since I do not currently have my
Wait,
copy of the
okay,
graphic
wait,
novel,
hold on. Are we watching the movie or are we watching the series?
no, not the series on Amazon, I think, or Hulu. That one's mucho garbage.
Okay, so
I'm talking
The Zack Snyder movie. All right.
about maybe. There is the visual comic they have on YouTube, which, in my opinion, is a lot better, but that one's 5 hours, so I don't blame you if you'd
Yeah, I'm
rather
not doing
watch the Zack
that.
Snyder movie. Yeah.
All right, I'll watch that. That sounds fun.
Yep.
Um, all right. Do you want to watch something existential or do you want to watch a horror movie?
Uh, horror movie, I guess.
You know, one of these days you have to watch an existential movie. um,
Why? It make brain hurt. Me no like brain hurt.
because I like sad movies sometimes. All right.
Like
All right, I'll give you an option. I have a couple of horror movies listed here. Do you want to watch Videodrome, Rosemary's Baby, or Black Swan?
which one could I watch with my parents? I'm taking that dead silence as none of them.
Um, I'm trying to think. Videodrome, I don't think you can. Black Swan, you probably could. And I think Rosemary's Baby, you probably could too. Okay, so Black Swan or Rosemary's Baby.
All right, let me just do a quick Google search.
Rosemary's Baby is a 1968 movie, and then Black Swan is a 2010 movie.
All right.
In my personal opinion, Black Swan is better.
Uh,
It has Natalie Portman in it from V for Vendetta.
what's the other one? What's Rosemary's Baby about?
It's about a this woman who gets raped by her husband, and then the husband, the child gives birth, and then the husband
It's
tries to
the
put it
husband.
into a cult. It's a cult movie, satanic cult movie.
So did you say that the husband gives birth there?
No, I didn't.
Oh, sorry, I must have heard you wrong. I was very confused for a second. That must have hurt. Oh God, I gotta shit it out. Ah.
So
Yeah,
Black Swan or Rosemary's Baby. All
Black Swan.
right, it's a good movie.
All right.
I will provide that movie in the coming days.
We will provide it in the coming days. What does that mean?
You'll get because actually is Black Swan on anything? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get it to you somehow. Let's see.
Uh,
Nope. All
says
right.
it's on.
I will give you a quote unquote pirated cuts.
All right. Yes, quote unquote.
Because for legal purposes, I can't say pirated.
For legal purposes, that's a joke.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So we got Das Finale. We got the two movies we're gonna watch.
Watchmen and Black Swan.
That's right. Watchmen and Rosemary Swan.
That'd be a weird combination.
Yeah.
I feel like you might like Black Swan.
So it's about this ballerina who gets replaced by her boss.
Yep. It is a horror movie.
Uh,
It is made by the same person who made Requiem for a Dream. Have you seen that?
isn't that the one where they're on drugs and they all die?
Oh, that's a movie I gotta make you watch someday. That is such a it is a movie it's a movie that it is one of the most amazing movies that I can never watch again.
Why is the theme for Requiem for a Dream like some Roman Empire stuff, though?
I don't know, but it's like actually like viscerally horrifying in the best possible way.
Huh. Interesting.
One day I'll make you watch that.
Okay. Oh, in theory.
All right.
All right. Well, nice talking to you, Nick. And I hope you get better soon from the flu.
Being sick is no fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be
Who
back
would
in
have
a
known?
month.
All right. With the milk. Ta ta.
Ta ta.